Greetings, family, in the name of the King. Thank you all for being here tonight for another study in the word of our Elohim for the house of Israel scattered among these nations. I pray that everyone is in excellent health, and I welcome everyone, including our visitors, those who are passing through. Shalom to you also. And I hope that you'll have a wonderful time with us tonight as we go through the word of our King. We have a lot to talk about tonight and videos to show, so let's get right to it and have a word of prayer and ask the Most High for a blessing upon tonight's class. Baruch atah Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et derek hayeshua b'Mashiach Yehoshua. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the way to salvation in Yeshua HaMashiach. Father, I'm grateful to you for your love and your mercy, which truly endures forever. I'm thanking you, Father, for sparing our lives that we can be here together. And I'm thanking you, Father, that you have kept our eyes open. We have not fallen back into slumber, that we are able to see and discern the things that is to come upon this earth. I pray, Father, that you will strengthen us, and that as we are in all of these ghettos in Babylon, that you will definitely deliver us from this captivity, because you are our only source, your only hope. We don't have anyone that we can depend on. The governments have failed and everyone else has failed, but you are the hope of Zion. Therefore, we glorify your name, we thank you, and we love you. May your name be praised forever. In Yeshua's name, amen. Hallelujah. I also want to say a special greetings to my brother here with us in the studio, Brother Melech Maynard. Shalom to you. You can grab the mic and say shalom to the family.
Shalom, family. It's a pleasure to be here, and also to fellowship with the brothers, and knowing one day that we all will be together in the kingdom.
Hallelujah. And Brother Maynard is passing through. I also want to thank you all for uttering your prayers on the behalf of the Maynard family. As you all know very well, he's been through quite a bit, but the Most High has left him with some wonderful words, and also to know that there is hope, that as long as the Most High has the sun shining, he says he will always have his eye upon Israel. So the future looks very bright for the house of Israel. For the wicked, it's not so bright at all. Also want to say shalom to Elder. Elder, say shalom to the family.
Shalom, beloved family. It's a privilege to be here where we cannot see each other, but as I said, we can communicate by this wonderful internet that we have today. And I so I'm blessed again to see my beloved brother Maynard is here, and I want to thank God again for him. He's a wonderful brother.
All right, thank you, Elder.
Praise God.
So we are grateful, Mishpachah, and I pray that everyone is in excellent health. I'm very concerned about the next generation. I'm very, very concerned about the future of our children. I believe that we are the last generation. The little strands of gray that I have in my beard is let me know I have the right to speak about this. And I believe that we are the last generation. I don't know if there's another generation that will sustain what is coming upon this earth, because once upon a time, we didn't have the types of technologies that were so intrusive in our daily lives. When I was growing up, there wasn't too many telephones in people's homes and stuff. Maybe one or two neighbors may have a phone, and if you want to make a special call, you will run to your neighbor next door and make a quick call, or they will come over to you and make a call. And then gradually everyone was able to afford a phone, but the way that everything is moving right now, Mishpachah, things have changed dramatically. The science has made it possible that the next generation is going to be under total control. See, when we were growing up, we had the abilities to make choices. We don't have the money. We just can't, we don't need to be bothered with stuff. But today, with this world, whether you have money or not, your business is out there. Your life is out there where people can monitor it no matter what. And as Hebrews, I'm not too worried about that, knowing who I am and who we are and things like that. But I'm concerned that the next generation will not take what's happening seriously. Because when you are newly introduced to certain things, you can tell from the past how things used to be, and also what the word of your parents and your grandparents will tell you how life used to be. But for a child who is born into a society where everything is pretty much as is, they're thinking that this is good stuff. They don't see the dangers of this thing. And they may think all is well, but they really don't have a clue of what's coming around the corner. And even when you try to explain to them, they don't see the danger. They see everything as being beneficial to the society, that it's a plus to society to have all these technologies around, swipe and access to information and whatever that you need, you can get it. I'm very, very, very concerned. And I know that many of you all who are around my age, maybe, up or down a notch, are also concerned too. And so tonight's class is going to be centered around the world of tomorrow. Where do we go from here? There are so many lies being told that I believe that when the youth for tomorrow finally wakes up, the majority of them, probably about 90% of them, maybe, let me put the number about 80% of them, it'll be too late for them. It'll be too late for them. We have the movies around us that are showing us what they are planning, but even before that, as a child growing up, we had certain literature, science fictions to read, comic books and whatnot. We had the Jetsons, we had Star Trek, and so many different movies that, beam me up, Scotty, that depict a future with all these different technologies. And because we didn't have anything at the time, it looked like, wow, this is great. But you see, yes, it's a wonderful thing. But the problem is, who's going to manage this? Who is the one behind this technology? What are they going to be using it for? What the future is going to look like? That's the question. With those in power, can we trust? Because after all, people are telling us to trust them, trust them, trust them, trust them, trust them. So if we're supposed to trust them, why is it that when they come on the TV to talk about the medicines, they say it so fast? Are you going to trust somebody that speaks to you fast? I mean, even my accent and my speech, I got to slow down a little bit so that some of my Mishpachah can understand what I'm saying. But you all understand that if somebody is running something by you at 50 miles an hour in speech, something is wrong. If they're making the print tiny that you can't see it, something is wrong. If there's 2 or 3 doors in the back that you don't have access to, you don't know what's going on, something is wrong. And this is what we're trying to address tonight. So I'm going to read a few scriptures, and then I'm going to open up the mic just a little bit, give you all a few minutes before we go into it. And for those of you who want to share a couple things, I'm going to ask this question: how do you feel about the direction the world is going towards with the technologies? How do you feel about it? And I'd like you all to be brief. Just, give me a couple of points, what's on your mind, and we'll go right into some of these things and some video so we can see what's happening, and that you can step back a little bit and just kind of analyze around you and see what's going to happen to your little one. The one that, as a mother, you breastfed that child, and you looked into the eyes of that child with hopes and aspirations that this child would have a wonderful life. And you protected your child. And as a father, you did the same thing. You went out, you worked hard, you did whatever that was necessary to preserve your family, to see that all that you have become, you can make it better for the ones to come in the future. And you can pass on something of yourself onto your seed. But brothers and sisters, there is another plan for your children, for our children. And the only thing that's keeping us right now is the Most High. And having the knowledge and having that bond and that connection with the Most High, that's the only thing, Mishpachah, that we have that's keeping us. The time is now that you need to decide what side are you on. Make your election sure, certain, right now. Don't wait until later on and then when you're in trouble to kind of assess the damage and try to make corrections. Preventative is better than correction. I think all of us should know this. Do the best you can to prevent it. So let's start with Proverbs 22 and 28. It says, remove not the ancient landmark which your fathers have set. You see, we have a huge problem. We have a society that, while they're introducing to us new technologies, they're not interested in just stopping it there. They want to change the way we use those technologies for their benefit. They want to change things in such a way that they have full control over our lives, so that we will become as a product, just like they have invented products, made products to sell. Well, they want to give us products so that we can become products. I don't know if you all understand what I'm trying to say. So that they can control you, manipulate you, and use you so that they can become more wealthy. Now, the things that they're designing is not for them per se. They always have something different from what the public has. Their homes are different, designed differently. The laws are amended differently for them. Everything for them is different from the rest. And so the Bible is saying to don't remove the ancient landmark. If righteousness is righteousness, if the way of life, good is supposed to be righteous and evil is unrighteous, and a man's supposed to be masculine and a female feminine, and water's supposed to be pure by the Creator, a dog's supposed to bark, a cat meow, and if things are supposed to be that way, why would you want to change it? What's the reason for it? So the Bible says, so don't remove the ancient landmark. The standard that has been set by the fathers, don't mess with it. It's perfect. Every time we change something, we remove something that was perfect. And all we're bringing in is imperfections and imperfections and imperfections. Okay, so we're not moving towards perfection. That's what they want us to believe. But we're doing the opposite, Mishpachah. And that's why we got to be very careful. Let's go to Psalm 78. Let's start at verses 1 to 7.
Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to hear to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us.
Does it say new stuff? We don't see new stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It says old stuff. Let's continue on.
We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of Yahuwah and his strength, and his wonderful works that he have done.
So we're not supposed to hide the things from our children. And, you know, it is very, very difficult to tell someone about impending danger when they really don't have an understanding of what danger looks like. It's difficult to explain, to draw it out. This is why the Most High wants children sometimes to fall and bump their heads every once in a while, so they can have the reality. The same way that the Most High told Israel, I'm going to leave some of these heathen nations around you so you can learn war. Because if you're idle sitting around the house, especially since you just came out from Egypt, it hasn't been too many generations that has passed to get the Easter out of your head and the pyramids out of your head and the gods and the scarab beetles and all that stuff out of your head. It's going to take a little bit more time. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bumping across the head every once in a while so you can remember what pain and the future would look like if you go astray. So we have to remind our children and tell them, and sometimes when you try to explain what it's like to be under, a totalitarian regime or something, most of us grew up in under the wings of the American eagle. So we have never really experienced, apart from what the police is doing and what the general public is doing to us, we have never really experienced being behind an oppressive regime or something like that. So it's difficult for a lot of our people to be able to explain that to our children. Let's read on. Verses 5.
For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children.
Now, the only thing that will really preserve us is to continue to pass on the scriptures to our children. Let them stay in the scriptures. Let it be second nature. So when something comes, it becomes like, boom. Verses 6.
That the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children. That they might set their hope in Yahuwah and not forget the works of Yah, but keep his commandments.
If we don't talk to our children, because some of our people surrender their children so easily to a society that they don't have any understanding. They don't read materials and magazines to know what the future, or books to understand what the society is designing for the next generation. They don't read. As a child growing up, my parents used to filter the stuff that we brought home. You couldn't sneak not even a toy in your house, in the house, without them checking under the bed, checking around to make sure that everything was kosher in the house. Today in our society, most parents don't do that. They believe that the teacher always is going to have the student's best interest at heart. But they don't understand that the teachers themselves is just following protocols of a system that's been designed specifically to take our people, the souls of our people. It's all about the souls. And I'll play some video that you can see that the end game is the souls of our people. That's what we got to focus on. Forget about a bright future. All it is just making a smarter mouse. If I change the technology, if I put all these hoops and stuff, yes, you got to go through training to know how to run through the hoops, right? If I have to design corn to operate a certain way, I need to go to college to learn how to grow corn. But in the old days, you didn't have to go to college to grow corn. You understand, dig the dirt, turn the soil in a little bit, put the seed in a couple, about an inch or so, and cover it up in 2 inches and water it and, keep an eye on it and, simple things. But today you need a degree, a bachelor degree at least, for you to be able to plant corn these days. So all it is just that you have to be a little bit smarter to operate the technologies that they're putting on. And some of us are like tired, like, I don't even want to be bothered with that stuff. Son, come and read this to me. Tell me how to press the remote or something. Right? And the children themselves have no guidance because we're not seeing what's on the remote. They don't know because they don't have a guidepost, a landmark. We are the landmark. We know what it was like in the past. So if you see something looking strange on the phone, well, how come all the buttons are pink? Why are all the shirts looking pink? Why all the pants are stretching a certain way? What's going on here? Then you can say, back in my day, men's pants didn't stretch nowhere at all. You understand what I'm saying? So something ain't right here. What are they trying to do? Right? Let's leave that and let's go to Proverbs chapter 14 and verses 12. And again, I'd like to hear from you all. If you all like to say something now, if you want to save it for later on, that's fine. But I want to give you all a couple minutes before we dive into this. How do you feel about the technology? Let's read Proverbs chapter 14 and verses 12, verses 11 and 12.
The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
Is a way that does what?
Seemeth right unto a man. But the end thereof are the ways of death.
Our young people, the future may seem right to them. And to you who embrace the future, it may seem right to you. But as you go down this rabbit hole, this tunnel, as you move further ahead, you'll realize that, now this is a trap. And then it's going to be like you see with the signs here, with these youths putting these signs up. It's time to act. Never again. No more lies. The future is us. Stop robots and AI is a threat and stuff like that. By the time that comes around, it's too late. You can't protest your way out of a system that has finally got you in a trap. I've never seen a rat protest once they're caught. Have you? So what say you, Mishpachah? If any of you all like to chime in about the future, if you feel brave and bold about the future, and you don't have to agree with me. You can disagree. That's fine. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Brother Doug, shalom, my brother.
Shalom. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother.
All right. So this topic, and you've touched on it so many different times in the past. You are so correct, Rabi. It's to a point that this technology is to where it's turning us into like zombies. I look at people, and you should see them. They literally look like zombies, including myself. And I'm going to put myself in this, but I'll tell you the good news. We're always staring down on our phone. We're texting. We're just looking down constantly. It's to a point as to where I find myself literally getting ready to run into a wall or different objects because I'm always on this phone. I'm always doing something. But I am honestly trying. It's almost like a demon that I can't get rid of. But the good news is that I do understand that this technology is gone way too far. I just had an upgrade on my Gmail email server. And now, and I think you mentioned this, now the algorithms know exactly what I'm getting ready to type. They have remembered my patterns, and they know exactly what I'm getting ready to type. And all I just have to do is just click a button, and it'll take me to the end of the sentence that the algorithm knew that I was going to type. I am trying desperately to work with myself, my son, my wife. I'm trying to get on us constantly, but it's almost as if this agenda has you so sucked in as to where you can't get out. So I am literally praying to the Most High to help me come up with something or put me in a position as to where I can put this technology down, because you are right. I love that scripture that Sister Sarah just read, where it says that it seems right into a man, and you are so correct. I used to be a big firm believer of this technology and everything just seeming to be so correct. It seems to be so good, but now that I have an awakened mind, I understand that it is not all that it's cracked up to be. And the agenda is to take us down a path where we don't want to go. So I just ask for prayer for myself and all of us, because I want out of this matrix. It is literally a matrix, and I feel like I cannot get out, and I truly want out.
It is difficult because we don't see the immediate danger. We really don't. This is a spiritual thing we're talking about. This is not just some zeros and ones. This is a spiritual thing we're talking about. If something has such a stronghold on your mind like this, that you feel depressed when you put it down and you feel excited when you get it, especially when you get an upgrade, you feel so much better. It feels like it's a new spirit, like you're renewed again. Something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong. So thank you so much, brother, for sharing that. Let's see who else would like to share. Elder, you want to say a quick word? Just go ahead.
Yeah, very, very quick. You know, the devil has set up that last days equipment to corrupt our seeds, our children, which is the internet. So we are glad. I'm glad I have escaped from that. I cannot get accustomed with anything that the internet have. Somebody have to come and help me. I'm glad that my mind cannot focus on that. And I have prayed very hard for our children, my grandchildren. I'm so thankful again that we have that prayer line.
Speak a little closer.
We have that prayer line that we can pray for one another, that the good Lord will save our children, this last generation.
Absolutely. You can.
I remember the book of Daniel where it says that knowledge will increase and that the wicked will do wickedly. And none of the wicked will understand, but the wise will understand. So as you come in to understand and to know who you are, you know, you have to, there's a saying that I think mother always used to say, when your head is in the lion's mouth.
When your head is in the lion's mouth,
you take it out very slowly.
Take it out very slowly.
So as you come in to understand who you are, you know, you've got to gradually win yourself out of those things by spending time in the Word. That's how you overcome these things. Okay, once you spend time in the Word, there is so much to learn in the Word and so much, you know, to discover treasures. Because the Bible actually says, the Most High says that if you seek me with all your heart, you will find me, and I will give you treasures in secret places. Mm-hmm. So the Word of God is treasures. There is so much to learn, and if you can spend time and, you know, gradually win your way away from those technology, watch less TV, and, you know, at a certain time, cut off the internet and go to bed. You have to push yourself to do that.
The first thing that the Most High did when he took us out of the superpower called Egypt, he didn't bring us into another city.
No.
He brought us to the wilderness.
Yep.
And if you notice the life of Abraham, our father, he stayed in the wilderness. He went into Egypt just for a short time, and he got out of that place as quick as possible. And then when he went to another city, he just passed through and just kept it moving. Lot was the one attracted with all the glitter, the shimmering lights and stuff. Sister Eliana, what's on your mind, sis? What's on your mind?
Good evening, family. I won't stay long. I just wanted to, I think all the points that were hit on, I agree with so much. And one of the things that I noticed, like, everything is so ramped up. And I'm in the STEM field, as you know, brother, Rabbi Yona. So I have appreciation for some things, you know, where it does good. But everything is so ramped up, and it happened. It seemed like within the last 10 years, it just got so ramped up in terms of, you know, it seemed like we had TV one day, and the next thing you know, we've got 20 things that we're managing, monitoring, and looking at, and you know, and it's just incredible. But one of the things I did, Sister Sarah, I agree. I started praying about, you know, seeking knowledge, wanting to be, you know, in the Word. And now, I mean, I'll watch a movie now and then. You know, I'll watch the news or something like that. But I spend most of my time in the Word. I spend most of my time, you know, watching something, if it's on YouTube or, you know, one of your lessons. You know, that's where I spend my time. And I am so fulfilled with that. You know, it's like when you pray about it and you really have the heart that you want to change, you know, the Most High gives it to you. and you start to wean. It just slowly starts to happen. You just start to, oh, I don't want to watch TV. Let me find some. I mean, so that's all I had to say. Just, praying about it, staying and finding a way to wean yourself off of it, and how things have gotten so ramped up. It just happened overnight, and we've been fooled and suckered into to thinking that these things were all good, and they're not, obviously. So that's it.
But sister, at least you have the ability of self-control. But when you have a little child, that
yes,
first thing that they have is not like a toy truck or something, but a little iPad or a little phone or something like that, some type of technology. And then from there, they're seeing that their parents sit in front of a computer, or their parents are sitting in front of TV, and you come into the car and you have electronics in the car, and you go to the mall, you see electronics everywhere, you see different things. It's very difficult for them to break away. Now, when we were growing up, and I know you're not going to tell us what your age is, but just based on what you're saying, we can tell that you came up in a generation that you had some control, probably went on a swing and merry-go-round.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so because of that, we have that experience, and even when we didn't have toys, we play stickball, hopscotch or something.
Exactly. Jacks, right?
Yeah. Jumping
Bowler bat. Running with a stick. I mean, it's just so many things to do. And I think you hit on a point right there, brother, that, being outside doing things with your family is so much more fulfilling. Like over, the Feast of Tabernacle, I was able to spend time with families up in New Jersey area and Philadelphia, and we were out at a nice park out in Maryland, Western Maryland, I think it is, and I tell you, we had such a ball, just doing things outside, walking, exploring, and I just think that's so lost. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much. And it seems as though when we introduce our children to the outdoors, it seems like it's punishment for them. This is why the Gentiles, when they pick up the Bible, it says the Torah is punishment. That's why the law has to be done away with. Brother King, what's on your mind, brother? What's on your mind?
Hello, good night. I just want to say that this technology, the way I look at it, is Lucifer. Meaning in terms of the way they create this technology is for us to be distracted from the Most High. So they know we will pay attention to the Most High world. We will not be able to spend time with the Most High world. Because if you look at this technology, it is very addictive. Once you start using this technology, it is very hard for you to break away. It all becomes a part of your mind. It's to take over your mind and control you. So then you will not be able to see the Most High or even spend time within the world. But you find yourself spending more time with this technology. So when I look at it, because the people who create these technology, they all are satanic worshippers. So they are making this technology basically to serve their God, Lucifer, and to have people to follow and do the same things. So when you really look at it, I see this Lucifer within the technology to control our people.
Thank you so much, brother. Remember what, I'm going to put you back on the other side. Remember what Yeshua said to Kepha. Satan wants to do what to you?
To sift you as wheat.
Sift you. That's why his name is Lu the Sifter. Lucifer. Because that's exactly what he tries to do. Sift us as wheat. So if anyone comes around saying that, hey, my name is Lou, rebuke him. Okay. Sister Tale, what's on your mind? Let's get you over.
Shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom.
I went to bed 2 nights ago, thinking on this same subject. And I've had some terrible dreams, but as soon as you started talking, I realized what those dreams were connected to. The days of Noah. We're coming into those days where people are going to be blending their bodies in with stuff. They're going to Just like you were saying, they're just going to accept it. The wilderness walk would be so hard for kids right now. So many of them would be out there wanting McDonald's, wanting Burger King, you know, just in a tangent because of what they're used to. And as parents don't pay attention to kids like they used to. They're busy with their own lives because they have something else to entertain them. They can stick them in front of something. And my kids, I'm 55. I remember playing kick the can and hide and go seek. I remember those things. And my children did the same. Now my children had a game deck, but they preferred outside, and they were so trained with it that if I let them go and select a game, if they turned that game on and that game looked like, okay, mama, we don't want to play this, no, we're taking this back. They were so trained with it, and kids are not trained now. They pick it up so well. You can give a 2-year-old a cell phone and they can figure out how to play a game. And that's terrible. That is just not good. But yeah, I've been having these strange nightmares about these zombies. I'm like, why am I dreaming about zombies attacking me? Because we're coming into those days. People are going to be zombie-like because they're going to be so blended into something.
You're right.
It's just going to be. And these poor kids don't stand a chance. These babies don't stand a chance. We need the Most High to come and deliver us quickly.
Sister, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. It's very scary. I mean, I think about the fun that I had as a child. I can't remember any bad days in that sense.
Climb a tree.
You know, climb a tree. Right. As a matter of fact, you mentioned about Burger King. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they used to have in the Happy Meals like some little toys and stuff. Do they still do that?
Yes, they still do that.
I don't know how effective that is because they might be losing money because nowadays children don't even want to mess with little toys anymore.
Oh, no, they're slick about it. The toys are connected to whatever's fashionable right now. It could be like the next child's movie that's coming out, so it's connected to something.
Okay.
So yeah, they want that stuff. Like a good example is what's the little oh, I'm so far away from movies. The little yellow guys, and one of them has one eye, and
Minions.
Yes, Minions. You know, kids don't play with toys, you're right. But when those Minions came out, every kid wanted to go to Burger King or whoever had that Minion so they could get that Minion toy and collect it.
Mm-hmm.
So they just got it disguised. They packaged it a different way, connected to something else.
Mm-hmm. That word Minion itself is demonic, and that one eye thing is like that Luciferian eye.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Disney is the worst thing to let your children watch. Nobody should let your kids watch Disney.
I agree with you 100%. All right, sister, thank you for sharing your thoughts. I remember, for those of you who recognize the picture on the screen, you must be about my age. There was a show back in the days called Logan's Run. If y'all remember that, just say yes in the chat. Let me see. You remember that, Brother Pincus? No? Yeah, you definitely not. Okay. Oh, Sister Olive, shh. Don't tell them how old you are, okay? Logan's Run. I remember seeing this thing years ago. I don't remember too much of it because I was very young. Thank the Most High. I was very young. But at the time, I remember it being, I just remember that the leading character in the movie was always on the run, like he's running from technology or something. And, you know, back in those days, it was basically science fantasy of what the world is going to look like. But now it's science reality. It's part of our culture today. Back in those days when they put this thing out, people were running away from it. The movie's based upon, let me just go to our next slide, and I'm going to play something. Logan's Run, the film, is a 1976 American science fiction film directed by Michael Anderson and starring Michael York Jenny Gutter, and so forth and such like. The screenplay by David Zelag Goodman is based on the book Logan's Run by William F. Nolan. It says it depicts a utopian future society on the surface. A future society, utopian future society on the surface, revealed as a dystopia, where the population and the consumption of resources are maintained in equilibrium by killing everyone who reaches the age of 30. So a society in the future where, well, there's limited resources, so we have to limit, we'll allow you to reach 30 years old, and then that's it. You're gone. You have to be removed. So an old man will be 30 years old. You see? But on the surface, that's what I wanted us to take a look at. On the surface, it looks like it's something that is great. But below the surface is nothing but horror. It's a horror movie. Okay? That is what our children is not seeing. Our children need to see the dangers that's lurking behind. So the word utopia, let me just look at this just real quick. Utopia is an imagined community, or society that possesses highly desirable or nearly perfect qualities for its citizens. It's a community that desires this, they expect this from you. They expect that you will produce the best to contribute to that society that they're framing. Okay? The opposite of utopia is dystopia. One could also say that utopia is a perfect place that has been designed so there are no problems. Design where there's no problems. See, utopian ideals often place emphasis on egalitarian principles of equality in economics, government, and justice, though by no means exclusively, with the method and structure of proposed implementation varying based on ideology. According to Lyman Tower Sargent, quote, they are socialists, capitalists, monarchical, democratic, anarchists, ecological, feminist, patriarchal, all these different societies, free love and so forth, many argue is essential for improvement of the human condition. But if used wrongly, it becomes dangerous. So everybody is saying, in Russia, is saying communism is the best society. But the people who are, because, I mean, when you think about having everything equal, I have the same 2 slices of bread as you. I got the same pairs of shoes as you do. My dental care is the same as yours. Everybody has the same and access to everything. That sounds great. It sounds really good. But if you have wickedness behind the scenes, that could turn into a nightmare. Because if you sneeze a little too much, you're going to say, oh, you're defective. Right? That's not normal. So they want to turn everyone into bricks. So you're not stones with your own shapes and different character, your own individual character. You have to be like bricks. Okay? So Sargent argues that utopia's nature is inherently contradictory because societies are not homogeneous and have desires which conflict and therefore cannot simultaneously be satisfied. So you can't have 2 different things working together as one. It's going to fight against each other. This is why the Bible says, how can 2 walk unless they have to agree? Okay? So let's leave that. I'm going to play a video because they want us to believe utopia is ideal. This is something good. But Mishpachah, I'm going to tell you this much. How many of y'all remember, because I had to read this in school, the book called 1984 by George Orwell? Animal Farm and such like, right. Okay, so I'm going to play this video. This is kind of like give you a summary about the book, and it speaks about the future. And you'll see at the end of the video, it's all about your soul, breaking your soul. Satan wants to destroy our people. He wants to destroy all mankind, okay? Let's play this video. Let's take a look.
1984 is about totalitarianism. A totalitarian government is one that tries to control every aspect of life. How people spend every minute of their time, even in private, who they can associate with, what they're allowed to say. A totalitarian government even tries to control what people think and what they believe. George Orwell wrote 1984 in the late 1940s. What he knew about totalitarianism was based on the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany. Those governments had come into being not that long before, and they weren't very well understood yet. What Orwell was trying to do with 1984 was to give his readers a clear picture of what life would be like if a free country like England were under totalitarian rule. 1984 takes place in London. The London in the book is a depressing place. There's never enough to eat, the food's disgusting, there aren't enough clothes or shoes or anything to go around, and the city is pretty dilapidated, except for these giant pyramid-shaped government buildings that rise above the landscape. There's some sort of war going on, though no one really understands what it's about. Rockets frequently explode in the streets and blow people to bits. The worst part is that the government is always watching everything people do. There are these posters of Big Brother, who's supposedly the leader of the government, that say, "Big Brother is watching you." There are thought police who have hidden cameras and microphones literally everywhere. The government can watch you in your home, through your TV screen, and you're not allowed to turn your TV off, ever. There are a lot of things you're not allowed to do in this society, and if you do them, the police might take you away and throw you into a forced labor camp. You're not allowed to have close friends, you're not allowed to be in love, you can't date or have sex with someone you like. You're basically supposed to save all your emotional energy for the party being the government. Then there are things you have to do. You have to watch the government programming on TV, most of its news, some of its exercises. You have to attend pep rallies, including this one called the 2 Minutes Hate. So it's hard to even have time to think your own thoughts because they're constantly filling your head with propaganda. The main character of 1984 is Winston Smith. He's 39, he has a job in the government, and he lives this horrible, dreary existence without any friends or anyone in his life. At the beginning of the book, he starts writing a diary to talk about how much he hates life in his society, even though writing a diary is one of those things you'd be killed for doing if you were caught. The diary is his place for thinking about his society. It's a place where he tries to imagine if life could possibly be different from the way it is. There's no way for him to know if things were ever different before, because the government has changed all the records of the past and rewritten all the history books. At the beginning of the novel, there are two other people who matter to Winston, and he doesn't even know either of them. One of them is Julia. Julia is this attractive young woman who works in the same building as him. She's some kind of mechanic. Winston basically hates her. He hates her because she's pretty and he can't have her, but he also thinks she's the sort of person who would turn him into the thought police. So he's afraid of her, but also sort of fascinated. The other person he's interested in is this portly guy named O'Brien, who's a member of the inner party. That means he's a boss, much higher up than Winston. Winston should be afraid of this guy, but he gets the sense that O'Brien is intelligent, so he has this yearning to be friends with him. He thinks O'Brien would understand how he feels about life. The book takes a turn one day when Julia slips Winston a note that says, "I love you." This note completely rocks Winston's world. Of course he's interested. He can't wait to get in touch with her. But it's very hard for them to say 2 words to each other in private with all these spies and cameras everywhere. Finally, they do manage to get out to the country, and they start this mad love affair. The love affair makes them both very happy. It's dangerous because they could be killed or sent to labor camps if they get caught, but that makes it more exciting. At last, Winston has someone who understands him and who hates the party as much as he does. But Winston needs to go that extra step. He's rebelling against the party privately by having the secret affair. Now he wants to go to the next level and be an active rebel against the government. He gets his chance one day when O'Brien invites him to his apartment to look at something work-related. Winston takes a leap of faith and guesses that O'Brien must be part of the rebellion, because no one invites people over to their home. It just isn't done. So he and Julia go to O'Brien's house and confess that they want to be rebels. And O'Brien says, yes, I'm a rebel too. And we all read this book that explains why things are the way they are. Winston reads the book, and he's blown away by it. Unfortunately, right after he reads it, the thought police bust in and arrest him and Julia and carry them off to the Ministry of Love to torture them. So we learned that O'Brien wasn't a rebel after all. He just wanted to catch Winston. In the Ministry of Love, they torture Winston in all sorts of horrible ways. They break his bones in his teeth, they use electric shock, they starve him, and on and on. He tells them everything he knows, he confesses to everything they ask him, and he tells them everything he knows about Julia. After torturing him over and over, O'Brien finally tells Winston what it is that the government really wants. What they want is to have total power over the minds of people like Winston. They want people like Winston to say 2 + 2 = 5 and really believe it, not just say it to avoid a beating. For the government, it's purely an exercise in power. They're not trying to control his mind for some other purpose. They just want to exercise total power over people's minds. They finally do break Winston completely in this place called Room 101, where they do whatever it is you're most afraid of. They lock his face into a cage and threaten to let these rats eat their way through his face. He has a phobia of rats, so he loses it and says, "Do it to Julia, not me," which is a complete betrayal of what's most important to him. The government has taken his last shred of integrity. After he does that, they let him and Julia go. The thought police don't care about them anymore. The two of them meet on the outside, but they can't love each other anymore. Winston and Julia are basically broken people after they get out. Winston has changed to the point that he doesn't even want to think about anything that might be rebellious. He just sits in a cafe listening to the news and smiling. The last words of the novel are, "He loved Big Brother." So, one of the points the book makes is that a human being can be broken down completely until he'll believe whatever you tell him, even if it's that 2 + 2 = 5. At the same time, the book has a positive message, which is that it's really hard to get inside someone's head to that extent. The government has to go to incredible lengths to brainwash Winston successfully.
Let me cover a few things that I think is important. Just a few things that I want to highlight here. I'll start from the end, towards the end, and work back to the beginning. He mentioned that that gentleman was broken in a room called Room 101. That's where Winston was broken. Now think about the number 101. Technology is what has broken our people. Let me explain what I mean. What is the foundation for digits or for technology? The binary code. And what is the binary code? 0, 1. That's where the man got broken, 101. Where's our children today? Technology is what has broken our people. So the ability to resist was broken when he got to room 101. 0 ones, zeros and ones. Keep that in mind. The guy was doing good. Winston was doing good when he had a private rebellion. He had a relationship with a woman that he wanted to be with, and everything was going great. And this is what we're having right now. We're having, according to the world, this would be considered a private rebellion because our thoughts, our teaching, our way of understanding, our life goes contrary to the society that Satan has in control of, right? But unfortunately, we do have others who make public rebellion. A lot of our brothers are out there doing public rebellions, and they feel that they have a need to publicly rebel. This is where we're going to have the problem. But let me go a little bit further. One of the things, because remember this book was written many years before a lot of our people was born. and published many times over and became part of the school curriculum for reading and things like that. But it was depicting a society where it was under surveillance 24/7. Now that was something that was written before we had cameras everywhere. I'm not saying the guy's a prophet, but these people who are in the know, they understand what is to come because they look at the paperwork, they can see what's happening, and they'll put it out in a movie form. They'll put it out in some kind of a literature that seems just like, science fantasy. So imagine in the past, they spoke about a future where cameras will be everywhere. What do we have today? We have cameras everywhere. Okay, let's move on. One of the things that the guy made, Winston made, one of the mistakes that he made was he had a yearning to join with somebody that was intelligent. Remember the other girl that he wanted to be with? She wasn't all that intelligent, but the reason why he was focused on connecting with this other guy was because he looks intelligent. A connection to intelligence. What do we find now in our society? We find that a lot of our people, your younger generation, is gravitating towards things that's dealing with artificial intelligence or intelligence. And they will tell you, you're old-fashioned. You don't know what's going on here. And when you try to explain certain things, they don't want to hear it because, after all, you don't know how to unlock your own phone. Okay? Let's move on. One thing that was mentioned in the summary about the book is that the government had the ability to do what? Change the past. This is why we read the scripture that says to remove not the what? Ancient landmark, which the fathers have set. The fathers know what happened in the past. You remove the fathers out of society, and then you have chaos. You don't have a counterweight. You don't have a balance. Well, that's a different subject, Elder. So the government wants to change the past by removing what the older ones had established. And this is what we have today. Another thing that was mentioned is about the TV screens watching everything. Now, back in those days when this book was first penned, I believe they had TVs back then, but very few people even had televisions and even thought that television would be the way it is today. We're going to cover that too, Mishpachah. All right. Another thing that was mentioned at the beginning was the book was written about a society that had what you call rockets exploding all over the place. Remember he mentioned that? What do you call that today? Terrorism. Terrorism. Okay? So they are laying down the foundation of what we are experiencing today. All the pieces are right there before us. But again, if you package it up as science fantasy or fiction, a lot of people will look at it as just that. While you're living it, it's right there in front of you. Let me play another video. It's dealing with the same book, but now it's going to cover the language. Newspeak.
If you've watched the news or followed politics, chances are you've heard the term Orwellian thrown around in one context or another. But have you ever stopped to think about what it really means or why it's used so often? The term was named after British author Eric Blair, known by his pen name George Orwell. Because his most famous work, the novel 1984, depicts an oppressive society under a totalitarian government, Orwellian is often used simply to mean authoritarian. But using the term in this way not only fails to fully convey Orwell's message, it actually risks doing precisely what he tried to warn against. Orwell was indeed opposed to all forms of tyranny, spending much of his life fighting against anti-democratic forces of both the left wing and the right. But he was also deeply concerned with how such ideologies proliferate. And one of his most profound insights was the importance that language plays in shaping our thoughts and opinions. The government of 1984's Oceania controls its people's actions and speech in some ways that are obvious. Their every move and word is watched and heard. And the threat of what happens to those who step out of line.
Let's pause for a moment. Did you hear what it just says? Their speech is being what? Let me back it up just a little bit. Let's back it up just a little bit. I'm sorry.
Their every move and word is watched and heard.
What do we have in our phones today? This is why Brother Doug said before he can even complete his sentence. Do y'all get the picture now? Let's continue.
And the threat of what happens to those who step out of line is always looming overhead. Other forms of control are not so obvious. The population is inundated with a constant barrage of propaganda, made up of historical facts and statistics manufactured in the Ministry of Truth. The Ministry of Peace is the military. Labor camps are called joy camps. Political prisoners are detained and tortured in the Ministry of Love. This deliberate irony is an example.
1 second. Didn't we have this thing with Operation Desert Freedom or some nonsense like that? With the Bushes when they went to Iraq? Iraqi freedom? When they tortured people, waterborne people? That was the Ministry of Love. That was the Ministry of Love. Let's continue on.
Doublespeak. When words are used not to convey meaning, but to undermine it, corrupting the very ideas they refer to. The regime's control of language goes even further, eliminating words from the English language to create the official dialect of Newspeak, a crudely limited collection of acronyms and simple concrete nouns, lacking any words complex enough to encourage nuanced or critical thought. This has an effect on the psyche Orwell calls doublethink, a hypnotic state of cognitive dissonance in which one is compelled to disregard their own perception in place of the officially dictated version of events, leaving the individual completely dependent on the state's definition of reality itself. The result is a world in which even the privacy of one's own thought process is violated, where one may be found guilty of thought crime by talking in their sleep. And keeping a diary or having a love affair equals a subversive act of rebellion.
Talking in your sleep can be listened to by Siri, Alexa, whatever her name is, and who else? Somebody posted it up there. Siri, Alexa, what's some of the other names, Mishpachah? Y'all know the names. Who? Echo and Erica. There's one called Erica. So imagine you have these devices in your home and you go to sleep and you have a nightmare and you're rebuking the devil. Psalms 91 comes up, or Psalms 23. In the daytime, you're trying to keep yourself as a Hebrew, working on a plantation. But at night, while you're sleeping, and that thing is monitoring everything in the room, and it listens to that information and sends it back. It says, that's a Hebrew Israelite right there. That's a Hebrew Israelite. Let's get him. Let me just back it up a little bit. I'm sorry, Mishpachah.
And keeping a diary or having a love affair equals a subversive act of rebellion. This might sound like something that can only happen in totalitarian regimes. But Orwell was warning us about the potential for this occurring even in democratic societies. And this is why authoritarian alone does not Orwellian make. In his essay, Politics and the English Language, he described techniques like using pretentious words to project authority, or making atrocities sound acceptable by burying them in euphemisms and convoluted sentence structures. But even more mundane abuses of language can affect the way we think about things. The words you see and hear in everyday advertising have been crafted to appeal to you and affect your behavior. as have the sound bites and talking points of political campaigns, which rarely present the most nuanced perspective on the issues. And the way that we use ready-made phrases and responses, gleaned from media reports or copied from the internet, makes it easy to get away with not thinking too deeply or questioning your assumptions. So the next time you hear someone use the word Orwellian, pay close attention. If they're talking about the deceptive and manipulative use of language, they're on the right track. If they're talking about mass surveillance and intrusive government, they're describing something authoritarian, but not necessarily Orwellian. And if they use it as an all-purpose word for any ideas they dislike, it's possible their statements are more Orwellian than whatever it is they're criticizing. Words have the power to shape thought. Language is the currency of politics, forming the basis of society from the most common everyday interactions to the highest ideals. Orwell urged us to protect our language because ultimately, our ability to think and communicate clearly is what stands between us and a world where war is peace and freedom is slavery.
Want to comment on that real quick?
It's calling good evil and evil good.
Let's get that. Let's go to Proverbs. As a matter of fact, let me close this video out. We're going to give some words of caution to the next generation. But first, let's go to Proverbs chapter 12 and 15. We'll get the one that you mentioned.
Proverbs 12:15.
Uh-huh.
The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise.
Our young people believe we're just paranoid people, that's all. We don't know what we're talking about. If my father's father lived during the time of World War I, World War II, and saw what life was like, let's say that my father was raised in England, okay, for example, and he lived during a time when he saw what was happening with the wars and people have to hide under bunkers and whatnot. My grandfather would have passed that information on to my father, who has never experienced that, but heard the stories, and then my dad will pass that information on to me. That's the way it works, so that we will never forget, that we will always have some guideposts to direct us to be careful of society going off. This is what the Most High was trying to prevent, even for the entire world. But when the world failed, he chose a certain people and gave them directions. We call it the Torah. We also failed. We did what was right in our own eyes. And because of that, here we are today. So our young people believe that they have all the understanding in the world, and the Bible calls people who think like that fools. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. Most of the time, the young people don't want to come to seek counsel because they don't want to hear what we have to say. Let's get Proverbs 22 and verses 3.
A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself.
Uh-huh.
But the simple pass on and are punished.
When we see the evil, the way that we hide ourselves is not running over to some far-flung country, but for us to put ourselves in the Torah itself. Because the Most High is the one who has control over everything. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Where could they have run to? If the Most High told them, you're going to be 70 years in Babylon or in captivity, he didn't make a way for them to escape from that, right? And to come back to Israel or run into Egypt. They knew that if they ran from there, they're going to find some bigger problems. The Bible says that the Most High always make a way for us to escape. All we have to do is follow his directives. Let's read verses 4.
By humility and the fear of Yah are riches and honor and life.
By being humble, verses 5.
Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward, He that doeth keep his soul shall be far from them.
So instead of being big-headed about everything, we need to be humble. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves ensnared with traps. Verse 6.
Train up a child in the way he should go.
Not the way the child wants to go, but the way the child needs to go. He should go. You are the one that's training the child the way he should go. You don't take a person as a supervisor, take them to the job, and you tell them, what would you like to do? You don't send your children to school and says, students, what would y'all like to do today? No, you take the pencil, the chalk, whatever it is, and you write out, this is what has to be done today. This is the assignment for the week. Read on.
And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
When he is old, he will not depart from the training. Okay, from the fear of the Most High. Now let's go to Proverbs chapter 3, verses 6 to 8.
In all thy ways acknowledge
I'm
him.
sorry, let's start at 5. Trust.
Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding.
That's what we need to put in our people's head. Even ourselves. Okay, read.
In all thy ways acknowledge him.
In some of your ways.
In all.
In all. Acknowledge him. Read.
And he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear Yahweh and depart from evil.
Read.
It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones.
Hallelujah. So if we disregard the instructions of the Most High, we are in deep trouble. If our children will not respect what we laid down, then what's the sense of you investing further in that child? Because if they have the answers to everything, what do they need your money for and your hard work for? You should just take that money and go on a vacation, go on a cruise somewhere and relax. Because if they're not listening to you, all you're doing is putting your money in a pit, in a hole. That's all it is. Take your money, go somewhere and enjoy your life, because according to Ecclesiastes, that's your portion in this life. Your labor in this life, Mishpachah. So we put too much into people who don't care whatsoever. You continually go behind them over and over, and they're not listening. Let's take Isaiah 5, and we're going to read verses 20 to 22. Yes, family, when we look at these things, remember, these are books written before many of us was even born. And it spoke about a future that is dangerous. And now when we come into the information and we have the understanding of who we are and what is lurking around the corners, they don't want to hear what we have to say. Let's read.
Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
That's that new speak or that double speak. Read.
That put darkness for light and light for darkness. That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Read.
Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight.
They will tell you the technology is very, very good for us. It's going to help enhance our life. As a matter of fact, if you're diabetic, we can implant a chip that will release the stuff on time. You don't have to ever worry about it. It will monitor when your blood sugar is low and just release a dose in your body. But does it tell you who's listening into your business? What if they decide, okay, you know what? We look at the deficit. We have trillions of dollars. And about half of that trillion is on food stamp and welfare people, recipients, and other segments of society that we don't really care for. All the infirm people. So let us just pull the plug, because it's easy to pull the plug on that segment of society, and then you're gone. Eliminate the problem. Remember, when the Europeans came over here, they promised good, they had smooth words. They gave beads and beautiful little trinkets, shiny little stones, little glass beads and whatnot. And before the natives blinked their eyes twice, they were in chains, they were diseased. I mean, the people didn't need blankets, but the Europeans introduced blankets to them and says, keep yourself warm. Next thing you know, they broke out with pox, diseases, hair falling out, lice. You can't even go to a Motel 6 without lice crawling up your behind. They're all over the place. You look at the news, you'll see they tell you that these places are filled with lice. All right, let's read on verses 22.
Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink.
Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine. So we suck up the system's words and ideologies and whatnot. And brothers and sisters, it's not going to help us at all. I mean, what I'm talking about here, what you all understand is very true. It's very plain. But it's a hard thing, as our brother said at the beginning, and I second what he said. It's difficult because the younger generation has grown up seeing all these technologies have made my life easier. When I was a child, we were not allowed to have a calculator in the classroom. You had to sit there, and I don't care, your head will hurt you. Even if you got to twitch your eyes and look around to see who has the answers. You look around the room and says, let me see who has the answer. Hey, psst, hey, psst. You want my chocolate milk? Psst, hey. And that's the only way we can be able to get our algebra taken care of. But today, everybody got a smartphone, right? Let's leave that. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians. Let's go to our slides.
But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you.
So nobody needs to educate us about what's happening. This generation knows something is wrong, right? Read.
For yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yah so cometh as a thief in the night.
You know very well what's happening. Read.
For when they shall say peace and safety,
when they say that society is looking good,
then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child.
It's a trap.
They shall not escape.
And they will not be able to escape. Read.
But you, brethren, are not in darkness.
This generation is not in darkness.
That day should overtake you as a thief.
That we should be trapped.
You are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness.
Read.
Therefore, let us not sleep as do others.
Therefore, let us not sleep as do others. Even our technologies, our computers, we can put it to sleep. We can put our computers to sleep. So the computers is always awake. And if you hit your table a little too hard, it'll wake up. Like, okay. I remember I was driving. What were we doing, honey? We were driving somewhere, and all of a sudden my phone started ringing. And I looked at the phone and I saw Yona Gulab.
We were driving down.
I was like, I'm calling myself. And I picked up the phone and says, look at this. I'm calling myself. And it just rang and rang and rang. I didn't answer because I didn't call myself, and I'm not talking to myself. Whoever that self is, that's not me. We're driving to the airport, and all of a sudden, the thing just started. This is just like what, a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Start ringing.
Yeah.
Did I have a conversation with myself to say, call me? Okay. I'm just giving you a little bit of understanding of what's going on, okay? Let's continue on.
Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night.
Read.
But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation.
The hope of salvation. On helmet, we got to protect our minds, our spirit, right? Because that is what's preserving us for salvation. If you open up your mind for anything to crawl in, we're in big trouble. Let's read verses 9 and 10.
For Yahuwah have not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by Yeshua HaMashiach.
So we're not supposed to go out in the street making a whole bunch of noise and arguing about stuff. We're supposed to be wise and see, well, this is part of the plan, that things have to go this direction. And this is the doing of the nations. But as far as Israel is concerned, we are not bowing. Nebuchadnezzar could put the statue just the same height as myself. He could even make the statue to look like me or look like you. I am bowing. Neither should you. He could make the statue to look like my father, and he can say, well, the Bible says, honor your father and your mother. Bow to them. I don't care what they do. The scripture says you don't bow to no. First of all, don't make any graven image or any likeness. Right? I'm not bowing to these things. But so these men understood. Did they bow? No. We see where we are in this captivity. Should we give ourselves into it just because we're in captivity? No. Yes, Sister Sarah.
Put it in another way. Make you bow to it by just causing you to do it.
Causing you to do it.
Right.
Like breaking your knees or something. They're not forcing
you, but they cause you to do it by putting the idol in something else. The technology.
That's right. You mean the technology. All right, let's move on. Verses 10. Yeshua HaMashiach, who?
It says, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him.
We should live together with him. That our actions should be as if he's inside. His spirit is with us, always inside of us. So we are not of our own. Okay, now let's leave that and go to Ezekiel chapter 33. We're going to read this warning because we do have messengers that warns us not to do certain things. Ezekiel 33 verses 2 to verses 11. Let's read. This is a warning to the house of Israel. Okay, but it could be applied across the board to any nation. Ezekiel chapter 33, 2 to 11. Any nation themselves have the understanding to know, if I have a fortress, if I have a border, I need to protect my border. The media have to be on board. The sirens have to be set up. The communications have to be open and working. This is why we go through these drills in the society. In the old days, we had a shofar to sound alarm. Today, we have the sirens posted up in a square somewhere. Okay? Nothing has changed. The same system, new technologies, but we have wickedness behind the scenes. Let's read. Ezekiel 33, verses 2.
Son of man, speak to the children of thy people and say unto them.
The children of who?
Thy people.
Israelites, read.
When I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman.
Now the Most High is the one, he says, when I bring the sword, we have to keep that in mind. This is his earth. He made everything. Okay? When I bring the sword upon a land, read.
If when you see the sword come upon the land, you blow the trumpet and warn the people. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
You're responsible for your own self because you was warned. Read.
He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him.
Read.
But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul.
Read on.
But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity.
Your own iniquity. Read.
But his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
So 2 lives lost. The person didn't hear, they lost their lives. And you who had the trumpet, the shofar to make the noise, you messed up too. So yes, we are responsible for letting our loved ones know the errors of their ways, but they are responsible to take action, not you. You can't, I mean, we're not talking about little babies that you got to put diapers on We're talking about grown people who will tell you, I don't want that. In other words, they have made their own choices. They can think for themselves. I don't like this. I like that. But a little baby, they need someone to take care of them, or an invalid or elderly person who depends on someone else. They need to follow along so someone can save them. This is why when you go on the airplane and you have someone with you, depending on the age, there are certain rules that apply. The stewardess would tell you, if it's an adult, the adult can put on their own seatbelt and read the rules for themselves. But if it's a child, the rules are you have to secure yourself as the watchman, and then you secure your child. Because your child can't help you if the plane bumps a little bit, the child gets knocked out somewhere. Do you think the child is going to be strong enough to move a chair to rescue you? No. But if you're secure, you can help anyone else. Let's read.
So thou son of man.
Verse 7.
I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me.
So the word is not to go out to other nations. That's none of their business. It's for us to warn amongst ourselves. We need to talk to our people, let them know what's happening. I don't see the sense for me to go out and preach a message for the whole world. Why? If they want to learn something, they can learn something, but I'm not going directly to them. The focus is on my own people. If a hurricane is coming, everybody knows about it, and I go and board up my house and I do all kinds of stuff, my neighbor will see what's happening and say, hey, maybe we should do something too. Or they'll come and ask a question. Hey, what are you doing? Well, there's a category 10 hurricane coming. And I'm going to do this and that and, peace out to you. If not, I'll see you in the resurrection if you're there. And keep it moving. But I'm not going to go and, hey, repent, be baptized. That's churchianity. The repenting is for who? John the Baptist didn't go to Syria. He didn't go down to Egypt. He didn't go to Babylon. John didn't take a ship and go to Spain. Did John go to Europe, Germany? He went into the wilderness of where? Judea. And says, repent. Yeshua didn't go to Germany. He didn't send the disciples to Germany. He sent them to the diaspora. Let's read on.
Verse 8.
When
I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die, if thou doest not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at thine hand.
Read.
Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul.
That's like Noah. You deliver your own soul, Noah. Read.
Therefore, O son of man, speak unto the house of Israel.
Once again, this is the house of Israel.
Thus he speaks, saying, if our transgressions and our sins be upon us, and we pine away in them, how shall we then live?
Pine away. You know what they put you in when you're dead?
Pine box.
A pine box. Pine away. You see how the Tanakh, Nevi'im, how the prophets laid out really good? If our transgressions and our sin be upon us, and we pine away in them, we're dying in them, we're dead in them. How can we live if we stay dead? We have to, it's an action thing. It's not a feel-good stuff, it's life. Verses 11.
Say unto them, as I live, saith Yahuwah
as
Elohim.
As he lives. Read.
I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live.
Remember the audience is who?
Israel.
Read.
Turn ye from your evil ways. For why will you die, O house of Israel?
He's asking a question. Why would you invest yourself in death? Why would you spend your time thinking of how you're going to eliminate yourself? Does that make any sense? when he's speaking to us that we need to focus on life. If somebody don't care about life, even though you can color all the pictures, you can paint murals on their bedroom walls, you can take them out for cruises, and you can light all the incense to make the best fragrance. You can give them bottles of wine. But if they don't care about life, there's nothing you can do. You can't make someone love life. They have to be encouraged within their own spirit. Okay? So why would you die, Israel, O house of Israel? See that? All right, let's move on, Mishpachah. It was customary for the other nations to take what they wanted and to impose their will by force. That type of rule was never meant for us as Hebrews. We will become their property. They will own our possessions, and they will regulate both. Let me explain what I mean by they will regulate both. They will regulate the use of your property, and they will regulate how you can utilize your own body. How your body is going to serve them. It was customary for the other nations to take what they wanted and to impose their will by force. But the Most High did not intend this type of mentality for us. Okay, let's look at some examples. Let's go to Genesis chapter 12. So what we're looking at is that the other nations, Mishpachah, have a mindset to control people and make everything a certain way. And it's not in righteousness either, okay? And we're going to show some examples of that. Genesis 12, verses 10 to 15. Let's read.
And there was a famine in the land, and Abraham went down into Egypt to sojourn there.
Egypt is a country. This is another country. Read.
For the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass when he was come near to enter into Egypt that he said unto Sarai, his wife.
So before he came into Egypt, he had a conversation with his wife. Read.
Behold, now I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon.
Woman, you are sassy. Huh?
You're beautiful.
Beautiful? Okay. You're beautiful. All right, read.
Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see you, that they shall say, this is his wife.
This must be his wife, because after all, where's she going to get all these nice, beautiful earrings and jewelries and these garments? She's not a servant. She must be. He has to invest in her. Read.
And they will kill me, but they will save thee alive.
They will kill you, kill me, and save you alive. Read.
Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee.
So Abraham understood that the city, before he came into the city, that these are a bunch of takers. The nations, like when they see something, they want to just take it. Read on.
And it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld a woman, that she was very fair.
She was very fair.
The princes also of Pharaoh saw her and commended her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house.
You see that? So the nations don't have rules of respect. They just take. The nations that we are under right now, their mindset is to take, to control. They're looking at you as property. And our young people need to understand this is how the nations think. They don't have the boundaries of the Torah that says, don't take another man's wife. Don't do this. Don't trespass. Don't, you can't have your manservant, maidservant, blah, blah. You can't do these things. There are certain boundaries and borders. Can't transgress those areas. But the other nations, they don't. They find ways around it. You see that? Let's go to Genesis 26. Let's read 6 to 7. Now, that Abraham was the first one. Now, let's look at Isaac with his beautiful wife, Rebekah. Let's see what the Torah has to say about that. Genesis 26, verses 6 to 7. Let's read.
And Isaac dwelt in Gerar.
Uh-huh.
And the man of that place asked him of his wife. And he said, She's my sister. For he feared to say, She is my wife.
Uh-huh.
Lest, said he, the man of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon.
You see that? So he understood because his father, the landmark, told him this is how these nations operate. Don't you think we should also inform our young ones that the nations that we are under also have the mentality of taking what they want? If they see an attractive Hebrew that says, she's going to live, you're going to die. She's going to serve, or he's going to serve this purpose. They're going to put you where they want you to be. And this is why they're using technology. The technology is learning us. It's studying our behaviors. It can see who we are. It's monitoring our movement. It's monitoring our speech. And it's building a case against us. It's learning us. It's figuring us out. It knows where we go. It knows what time we sleep. It knows what time we wake up. It knows who our children are. The technologies are like a little demon around us, overshadowing us. It knows what makes you happy and what makes you sad. It's building a profile on you. So Abraham was a very learned old man. And he understood the times, and he saw what was happening. He knows how Egypt operates. He says, shh, honey, don't say nothing. Tell him something else. Oh, yeah. He told his son the same thing too. You don't see Isaac saying, come on, daddy, come on, man. That's old-fashioned stuff. What are you talking about? Look at Egypt. This is a civilized place. Oh, look at Canaan over here. This is a well-known Philistine country. They have all these, they have, give me some of these high class, they have the Hilton. The Oasis Inn. The Sheraton. You can bring your camels there. The guy will take your camel in the back, brush the camel's hair, give it water, clean the toes of the camel. Everything is cool. What are you talking about? He didn't say that. He did the same thing his daddy did. And I wish and I hope, I should say, that our youth is understanding that we need to put in security measures in place in our lives. Safeguards. Sometimes we give out too much information. We don't know who we're talking to. And next thing you know, your life is in jeopardy. Let's move on. This is the future the nations seek. Control the peoples, control what people eat, control what goes into their bodies, control what comes out of their bodies, control who's fit to live and who also deserves to die. That's what the nations are seeking. This is the future of the nations. And we have another example, 1 Samuel chapter 8. We're going to read verses 4 to 21. And this is the problem of our people trying to emulate the other nations. Remember, the other nations think about taking stuff that don't belong to them. Right? And the Most High is saying, if you follow these nations, the mentality of taking stuff is going to be upon you. Let's see what it says.
Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old.
You are old. Man, you're an old dude, old-fashioned. Get out of here. Read.
And thy sons walk not in thy ways.
And look at your families messed up.
Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations.
Make us a king to judge us like all the nations. They didn't even say like that nation. Like all the nations. Read.
But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me.
We'll give the people what they want. Read.
That I should not reign over them. According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day. wherewith they have forsaken me, and serve other gods, so do they also unto thee.
Let's pause for a moment. According to all the works which they have done, that's the murmuring, the complaining, being fussy about keeping two scriptures. Since the day I brought them out of Egypt, even unto this day, they still have the same bad attitudes. Wherewith they have forsaken me. They have proven that they don't care about what I have to say. And served other Elohims, other powers. So do they also unto you. They're doing the same thing to you. They did it to me. So you're feeling bad because you know how I feel, and you're bearing the weight that I have to deal with all the time. So now you're experiencing that too. Let's read verses 9.
Now therefore hearken unto their voice. Howbeit, yet protest solemnly unto them.
So don't just give in so easily. Listen to what they have to say, but warn them, protest against them, at least take a last measure to warn them, because when they make this decision, a lot of times when we get these phones, we don't even read to see what the app has to offer. We just say, accept. They give you a condition, accept. Even a new upgrade. You don't even read. It's like, wow, I can do all this stuff. But you're not reading to see what they're going to take from you, how they're going to be spying on you, how they're going to be writing a report on your life, and you just click accept. You want to skip over everything. The mortgage, the bank is telling you, oh, sure, you're proof of the loan at 300% interest. You just want the house so bad. You just flipped. Okay, what do I sign? Initial here, there, and you're not even reading where you have to initial. You just zoop, 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 zoop. Next page. Here's the keys. And then when the interest is more than anything else, you realize that you're in prison. Then you say, oh, my Lord, what have I done? Guess what? You forged the whole thing. You made the contract. Let's read on. The Most High was warning Israel. Let's read.
Now therefore hearken unto their voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them.
Show them the manner. Show them how the king is going to be. You want all the other nations? I'm going to put all the other nations as a king inside this one person. Boom. Read.
And Samuel told all the words of Yahuwah unto the people that asked of him a king.
Read.
And he said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you.
This is how he's going to be. The first thing on the table. Read.
He will take your sons.
He's going to take. This is what the nations do. They take stuff. First thing is going to take the men, the heads, the strength of Israel. Read.
And appoint them for himself. For his chariots.
To clean his cars.
And to be his horsemen.
And to pick up doo-doo after the horses.
And some shall run before his chariots.
That's right. Bellhops.
And he will appoint him captains over thousands.
Make you the soldier.
And captains over 50s. And will set them to air his ground and to reap his harvest.
So you can go and do the garden work.
And to make his instruments of war and instruments of his chariots.
So you're going to work in his factories, in his warehouses. Does that sound familiar to you? Mm-hmm. Isn't that what we're living in right now? Mm-hmm. But guess what? That's what they're planning for the next generation. When they bring up all these technologies, who's going to make the technologies that will rule over us, our children? Somebody got to make them. Somebody have to care for them. Yeah, they're going to be robots that's going to take care of robots, but there's another purpose behind the scenes. Because you can't have 6 or 7 billion people, and on top of that, you have 6 or 7 billion robots doing all the work. You don't need that many people around. Once the technology is in place, you don't need a cashier. If you can walk into a store and beep, you walk out with a product, and it already charges your account. What do you need a cashier for? If you have a robot in the back that's stocking the shelf, what do you need a stock clerk for? If you have a robot coming out and taking all the, you said, well, maybe I can get a job to bring the baskets in, pick up all the baskets. No, They got a robot that will go out into the parking lot and get all the carriages, the carts, and pull them back in. A drone. Huh? What do they need you for? So now you're going to be a useless eater. The carbon footprint. You remember they've been singing this song about carbon footprint for a long time. And we don't understand what that really means. I do. Basically, too much farts is in the atmosphere, too much methane. And the methane is causing global warming. Too many cows because there are too many mouths to feed. So let's reduce the amount of cows and let's reduce the amount of people also. So guess who's going to be kept around? The best of the best. Only the people that looks like supermodels and has a certain status like one of those pageants, they're going to keep around. They're going to examine your blood to see if you got the good blood. And there's nothing wrong in your blood. You're pass all the tests, whatnot. They're going to check your IQ level. They're going to check everything about you. And then they're going to say you're fit to stay around. So they might keep about, maybe about 500 million people. That's about it. Let's read on.
Verse 13.
Uh-huh.
And he will take your daughters to be confectionaries and to be cooks and to be bakers.
So he's going to put your girls in a bakery, in a kitchen. Read.
And he will take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants.
Not the worst of them. The best. Remember what I said. The same way that he will do to the property, he's going to do to you. He doesn't want the infirm Hebrews. He wants the good ones. Read on.
And he will take the 10th of your seed.
Even your seed. No, aren't we live in a society where the people controlling the seed?
Correct.
Not just in our bodies, but even the seed that we're supposed to plant in the earth. Read on.
And of your vineyards, and give to his officers and to his servants.
Uh-huh.
And he will take your men servants and your maid servants and your goodliest young men and your asses, and put them to his work.
Even your asses will be put to work. Verse 17.
He will take the 10th of your sheep, and he shall be his servants.
Now, you might laugh at the whole idea of taking your donkeys or whatever to work. But we have a society now that people don't have their own taxis anymore. You have to go and be the taxi driver now. Call it Lyft and Uber and all these other things. Using your vehicle to deliver food, working for a system, and they're getting bigger. The word Uber is super. That's what Uber means, super. So you're using all your stuff up. You're using your house to make money. We call it B&B, right? Bread and breakfast, whatever it is. Using your car, you are serving and everything. And after your stuff is worn out, then it says, we don't want you anymore. High mileage. Expose all kind of heating all around you all the time. Your house is being slept in. All the sodomites is in your B&B. Spirits is up in there. Seances was done overnight. They need a B&B for Halloween. Halloween party. Okay. Read on.
And you shall cry out in that day because of your king.
You will do what?
You shall cry out in that day because of your king, which you shall have chosen you.
Your king, not my king. The Lord is saying, I didn't choose him. You're the one who chose him. That's what you wanted. You didn't say, Father, give us a king after your heart. He says, I want a king after those nations. And those nations serve those gods. And those gods put the ideas in those kings. And those kings says, the gods told me this, so I want y'all to do these things. And that's what we get. That's the future that the young people don't see that awaits around the corner. Read on.
And Yah will not hear you in that day.
What? He will not what?
He will not hear you.
Why?
Never, because you rejected him.
Verses 19, it tells you.
Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel.
Uh-huh.
And they said, nay, but we will have a king over us.
That
we also may be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles.
John 19:14. Let's get it. John 19:14 and 15. It's something that happened before, and the mindset is still with us. This is why the Most High always goes to the beginning and rehearse the stuff to us, so we can't say we didn't know. This is why he started with Egypt. He didn't start with when we were in the wilderness before. He started with Egypt, what he did for us in Egypt to prove us. He says, this is how y'all were thinking from way back then. And now y'all in this land here, milk and honey flowing everywhere. And this is how you're going to behave yourself. So we haven't really changed too much. Let's read.
Verse 14. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour, and he said unto the Jews, behold, your king.
So here this heathen is saying, look at your king. Verses 15.
But they cried out, away with him, away with him.
Get him away from us. Take him away.
Crucify him. And Pilate saith unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, we have no king but Caesar.
Like the other nations. That's the same thing we just read.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the same thing. We reject the Most High. We say we want to have a king like the other nations. So what does Caesar do?
That's what Caesar is doing today. It was not Caesar Borgia that they worship in churchianity.
Let's move on.
They've been worshiping
Now,
Caesar
I have this picture here. Y'all remember when years ago it used to be that the police was just, all they had was a whistle and a stick. Say stop. And they had a stick and it will, maybe knock you on the knees a couple times. You can see the evolution of the police force. Right over here. Simple. A whistle and a stick. Moved over here. He still has a whistle and a stick, but a little handcuff over here. Then he moved over here with a white clean shirt because he's not going to be close to get dirty anymore. He can just fire a shot at you and don't get dirty. See the white shirt? And then later on, he has all kind of utility belt like Batman. Bullets, spray, taser, cuffs, throwing darts. He has all kinds of stuff. He's well protected, bulletproof vests, everything. And look at where the police officers are now today. Knee pads. They cover their face. You can't even see them. You don't even know if that's your, hey, Uncle Remus, is that you? You don't even know who that is behind there. Cover the face. Machine gun. Can fire 100 rounds a minute. Bulletproof. Combat boots. Right? And then on top of that, they have a little drone. You see the drone? See the drone above the head? Y'all see that? So this is telling us the direction that we're moving to. Because back in my days, at least I had the guy with the white shirt. Right, Elder? The guy with the white shirt. Yeah, the one before him with the stick? Sarah, you're not that old, Sarah.
No, but growing
Come
up
on,
home.
Sarah, don't do that
Growing
to
up home
me.
in the British Isles. That's
on
how
the British
they were.
Islands.
Yes.
Okay.
They didn't have the guns.
Oh my goodness. But you can see now they're dealing with drones. When you look at the movie Avengers, there's a guy, the Falcon, he always have a drone that scans the area. This is a society we're moving in. So we can see where we are today, Mishpachah, and this tells us the direction we're moving into. Now let's move on. This author, just like we looked at 1984, Ayn Rand, okay? Ayn Rand, she wrote a book called Atlas Shrugged, which is about the future. Just a little interesting point. Most of the world know her as Ayn Rand, but her real name is Alyssa Zinovina Rosenbaum. In other words, she's Jewish. You'll find a lot of these authors that write these stuff about the future. Just check the background and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, when she was a child, 12 years old, she favored Alexander Kerensky. He was a communist. When you look at Lenin, Stalin, and all those people, you'll see that it was the Russian Jewish people that were behind communism. Communism, socialist movements, communisms, and that kind of stuff. They're behind that movement, okay? You can look it up for yourself. Maybe I can do a class on that and put all the pieces together so you can see. So I am not surprised that certain literature will come out about a future that resembles communism, the overthrow of freedom and the establishment of spying and surveilling and controlling people's lives. Now, her name, Ayn Rand, her name means eye. You know this in Ayn, in the Hebrew. It's an eye. Now, anybody who understands the Illuminati would know that there's a certain eye that is on that pyramid, right? Okay. So I'm just sharing that real quick. These people, when you look at a lot of the literature that they put out there, there's another one called, is it The Brave and the Bold or something like that? Some of these other books is actually speaking about the future. Let's see. Let's move on. I'm going to share with you all some news pieces, and then I'll play some video. Let me see. Yeah, we'll play some video. They're short videos. So Kifa, and Kifa is one that works behind the scenes. He's always sent me news reports, and I thank the Most High for Kifa, always behind the scenes working on certain things. He sent this news piece. It's called Mobile ID for Law Enforcement. The link is below. Y'all can take a screenshot of this and you can check that out. But it speaks about these apps that the police will have in their possession that they can scan your fingerprint. You know, like your smartphones get you accustomed. So the police will have something like that. Put your finger on this thing and it can pull your identity right away. And whatever warrants or whatever it is, they don't have to run back to the car back and forth and call it in or whatever. Scan it, your picture comes up, all the information pulls up right away. Easy, okay? It's just called Mobile ID for Law Enforcement. And you can check that out. It says the challenge. In an ideal world, all law enforcement agencies would have the frontline capabilities that rapid mobile ID provides. Knowing who you are dealing with is fundamental to the mission and the officer's safety. Remember, the Bible says when they say peace and safety, final destruction will come. They will always speak, and this is the same double speak. When they talk about the officer's safety, it's not talking about you being safe. Remember, they're supposed to be public servants. Who is the public? We are. It's supposed to be public safety, but that's double speak because we're not safe. We're not safe, okay? However, the reality is that IT resources are stretched, you see? Device proliferation is a burden, and budgetary constraints delay or cancel many projects. So they're going back to the money thing. The market to be system is all about money. It all boils down to the money thing. Because of budget restraints and not having enough techies to manage them, because it's expensive to have a tech on board, why not have all information right here in the palm of your hand? Let's move on. In the UK Independent, there was an article that spoke about, this is 2017, September 22nd. Fingerprint tests can tell if you've taken cocaine even when you have washed your hands. So the technology is so powerful that even if you wash your hands to say, hey, what if you just, maybe you're telling your loved one, hey, don't smoke that thing, that you know, and you throw it away. You touched it, that person walks away. So now you're driving, going home. You're not thinking about anything. License and registration to pull you over. Put that ID thing scan your finger, pull up your information, and then the fingerprint tests that they have in the apps that they have today can read or sample the stuff on your finger and says, oh, what's going on, officer? You're in possession of cocaine. Cocaine? I don't smoke any cocaine. Well, I see you have a clean record here, but we have to bring you in. And depending on what you look like, and you don't have enough bleach to take care of your complexion, and you don't have enough blue to put in your eyes, you might get a beat down. You might make it to the police station, or you may not make it at all. And this is the future that our young people need to see, that the system, the nations that is ahead of us, that we're in right now, their plan is to take control from us completely. And the only help that we have is from who? The Most High. So they're putting this stuff out so we can see, but are we taking note? Son of man, speak to the house of who? And warn them. In the Daily Mirror, it says Met Police are using mobile fingerprint scanners that can detect known criminals in just how long? 60 seconds. So you don't even have time to run away. It's that quick. It's that quick, Mishpaka. And they can smile at you and press another thing on the side, and next thing you know, you're surrounded with all these police. You see the technology, Mishpaka? Do you see it? And they use the left hand so that you wouldn't think or associate with the who? The beast, the right hand. Okay? And what do you see over on the right side of that pad? One of these right here. Okay? Big Brother is watching you. Look at the news articles, Newsweek 2014. Somebody's watching. In the age of biometric surveillance, there is no place to hide. No place to hide. Let's move on. Rise of the drones. You think when they sent all those drones to go look for Saddam Hussein in the spider pit, that it was just about that? Don't you know that the things that is used in the military, they have to make the money on the private sector? It's only a test. You think all those soldiers that lose their limbs in the battlefield is coming home just to sit around and get welfare? No. Those men are losing their limbs so that they can use new technologies to be cyborgs, to have devices attached to them. You understand that? So when the technology is used in the battlefield, guess where's the next place of use? The home front. Okay? The drones. Everywhere there's a drone. You can't even take a shower without a drone looking through your window. But it's worse than that now. You don't need a drone to be outside. Because right after, what is that, Black Thursday or Friday, whatever it is that they call it, a lot of people is going to be running out to buy new devices for their homes. We're going to take a look at that too. Time Magazine, 2045, the year man becomes immortal. And a Jewish person wrote this article, Lev Grossman. Look at the link behind the neck. Okay? So the question about the rise of the drones, they are America's global fighting machines. What happens when they're unleashed at home? The same author, Lev Grossman, over here, is the same author over here. I just realized that. All right, let's look at the future with food. What the next generation will have to deal with food. We all know this. We've talked about it before. Today's food regenerates our planting seeds for a healthier tomorrow. Popular science, the future of food, how to feed a hungry planet in the what? Digital age. Look at the corn. All chips. Y'all see that? Corn chips? Smart guns. Drone that flies for you. Killer lasers. 007 new ride. Just look around and you can see what they're telling us inside the FBI's bomb lab. This is the same thing in 1984, the novel. Okay. Let's move on. Never offline. This is Time Magazine. The Apple Watch is just the start. Do you see that? The Apple Watch is just the start. How wearable tech will change your life, like it or not. He calls it what? He calls. Say again, Brother Pincus. Say something in the mic. It's written by the same guy, Lev Grossman. Get a look into this guy. Jewish dude. But you can see how they're introducing the Apple Watch first to give you the sense of control that you can take it off and you can lay it aside. But then it's going to be part of your makeup, like a tattoo. Have you noticed the trend? Years ago, only sailors would have maybe a little tattoo. Popeye with a little anchor. Okay, I travel overseas. But now, people everywhere, even grandma has tattoos that it starts up here and now it's down to her knees. Tattoos all over in the back. Tattoos in the ears. Take a shower, tattoos is everywhere. And some Hebrews, you can't even see if you're circumcised or not because the tattoos is everywhere. And this is the problem. When we see the temperature, when we test the waters, we can see how we're moving towards the mark. Huh? We're racing. Rings. Tattoos and rings. Everything is in prison. It's in chains. Everything is marked like a beast, branded like a product. So we become products. We're training ourselves to become products. Let's move on. What will become of the seed of men? Who will our children marry? What will happen to the offspring? Let's move on, and then I'll play some video. Okay. Let's read the book of Joshua, chapter 3. I'm going to read verses 2, and then we'll go to Joshua 4 after this. Okay. And I'll share with you all some video, so we can get a better understanding. I really feel sorry for a lot of our naive people that will look at this teaching or the message and think that maybe I'm just pushing it a little too far. We are in the middle of it. Frogs don't jump in hot water. They jump into water that's just at room temperature. And they will actually invite their buddies in. Hey, Miguel, come on in. ¿Qué pasó? Ven acá aquí. And all of them jump in there. The water is really great. So the music is jamming, you know. Amigo, you forget the chips and salsa. Come on in. And by the time you turn around, frogs is upside down. Frog stew. Let's read Joshua. And this is what's happening with our people. We throw a pool party, got the chicken wings, barbecue sauce everywhere, or hot sauce or whatever it is. And by the time we turn around, we're upside down. It's too late. Our children are gone. We're gone. Israel is gone. Let's read Joshua 3 and 2.
And the soul of Enoch was wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah, in knowledge and in understanding.
Stop. This is shown before the flood, that Enoch saw the impending doom. But our generation cannot see the impending doom because these are the touch screen generations that we have today. But his soul, you know, when you use the word soul, it's the core belief, the core of that person. What makes you, you? And the Bible is telling us his soul was wrapped up in the instruction of Elohim. He was covered, tied up, wrapped up in the Torah of our Elohim, the instructions of our Elohim. What about our next generation? You try to separate them for about 15 minutes from any type of technology, even ourselves, and it's a hard thing to do. Our brains are so active, even when we're sleeping, the phones and the technologies, the Wi-Fi is still sending messages through our brains at night. And our brains are so tired. The brain is like, please help, please, Yahuwah. I'm tired. Read it again.
And the soul of Enoch was wrapped up in the instruction of Yah, in knowledge and in understanding. And he wisely retired from the sons of men and secreted himself from them for many days.
I think I need to pull a Enoch.
I was just going to say
I need to pull a brother Enoch. He says he realized what was going on, and he says, you know what? Peace out. He retired. He just started walking backwards, and then he just disappeared. Hey, have you seen Enoch? He turned his phone off. He turned everything. He just shut it down and says, listen, man, I'm done with this thing. I can see what's happening here. Let's go to Joshua. And this is just about the touch screen generation. You see the picture on the left? You see it's not like a real tree. It's a tree house, supposed to be a tree house. But when a child climbs the tree, it's like he's in his own little world in the phone. He's not even going into the tree house. Like when I was a child, it was like, Dad, can I have this old wood over here? Yeah, you can have the wood. Can I borrow your saw? What are you going to do with the saw? Can I borrow some nails? You can use those old nails over there. All right, go ahead, son. Go ahead. And then you start telling your boys, hey, I got some wood. I got some nails. What do you got over there? I got some this and that. Okay, let's go build a tree house. We're going to start our own little club. Right? And you and the boys get together, find a nice tree, and you put something up in a tree. That was my generation. Constructive. But the other generation, they're going to go to the monkey bars, they're going to go up and like this. Swiping. You see the picture of the little child? The child doesn't look sad, does it? The child looks interested, connected, happy. You can take a look at the link below. Freeze it if you want to take a picture of it. You can do the research on that. Okay, so let's move on. Joshua chapter 4, verses 18. This is about the seed, okay? Because the people are distracting the little ones, and by doing so, fill our minds that the seed is not really necessary. Okay, that the new way is, let me be as strong as a lion. So what do you need? You need some of the lion's DNA in our bodies. We want our food to be a little more leaner, so let's cross-breed the species so we can have leaner, because the doctor's saying, listen, our cholesterol is too high. So this eel over here has low cholesterol. If we can take this eel and mix it with the chicken or with the lamb, we have lamb eel. Okay, let's read Joshua 4 and 18. And lamb eel is actually good for you. It's a new product. It's healthier for you. As a matter of fact, the insurance company is going to give you discounts on your insurance. And the doctors just passed the law saying you got to show up for a checkup so we can test to see if your cholesterol is low. So you're forced to eat lamb eel. Joshua 4 and 18. Let's read.
And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men and took their wives by force from their husbands according to their choice.
That's the law. The judges is the law, and that's what the future holds. Those who control the next society. Read.
And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth.
They took. Read.
The beasts of the field and the fowls of the air.
Uh-huh.
And taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other.
Read.
In order therewith to provoke Yahuwah.
To make the Most High happy. You're challenging the Most High. He created, he set boundaries and says, this is what's going to bear seed after its kind, his kind. Don't take a chicken and mix it with an eagle.
But they've done that already.
And a buffalo with a cow and a dog with a wolf. Don't be mixing these things up.
They have a fish gene in a tomato.
Come on now. Let's read.
And a rat gene into broccoli. For all flesh had corrupted its way upon earth, all men and all animals.
See that? All men and all animals. Let's get Joshua 5. This is what's been happening with the seed, Mishpachah. Joshua 5 and 5. Let's read.
And all who followed Yah died in those days.
Now think about that. The Most High sometimes will say, you know what, y'all going to rest because whatever's coming up in the future is too much for you to bear. I want y'all to just go and sleep. Sleep this one out. I'm going to bench you for a little while. This game is too hot. And the young people don't see that, hey, if they should be looking at Grandpa. Grandpa, what happened? You don't feeling so good? Because Grandpa was good all the time. Grandpa himself or Grandma is a living witness that the next generation is going to be in big trouble because she was fine all the time. And all of a sudden she's not feeling so good. That should be a sign that the Most High is going to put some judgment out. Because Grandma was a righteous woman. Warn you over and over. Don't be mixing with no pagan stuff. Child, put that thing down. Go take the scriptures. Go play with your friends. Go have a life. You're not listening. So the Most High says, Grandma, you said enough. Go rest. And when you see Grandma's not feeling good, your time has come to an end. Let's read.
And all who followed Yah died in those days before they saw the evil which Yah declared to do upon earth.
See that? Verses 21.
And all the sons of men who knew Yah died in that year before Yah brought evil upon them.
When it says knew the Lord, that means they had a relation. They were connected to him. They talked with him, and he talked with them. He says, you know what? You don't need to see this stuff. You need to die remembering the peace. Remember what happened when a lot of the old men says, I wish, when Jerusalem was destroyed, I wish I wasn't born to see this happen. I remember the days when Jerusalem, the temple was beautiful. And I feel it's a hard thing for me to witness the destruction of something that was so beautiful. Let's read on.
For Yah willed them to die, so as not to behold the evil that Yah would bring upon their brothers and relatives, as he had so declared to do.
Why do you think the Most High didn't tell Abraham to come on a journey with me? If you notice, the text didn't say Abraham. And Abraham... First Abraham chapter 1 verses 2. And Abraham followed the Lord and the angels to Sodom. You can't find that in the Bible. Right? Abraham stayed one place, far off, and the Most High took care of what happened. He wanted to keep Abraham not to see what was going on. Let's move on. This is the future.
Because he knows the Most High don't come to
the future, gender bending. What's going to happen? You know, me and Brother Pincus had a little conversation a few days ago about a certain Israelite whose voice, for a long time I was hearing this voice. I was never seeing a face, but something was wrong about the voice. The voice just sounded like a female. And then one day, Maisha, Sarah, said to me, that's a dude. I was like, what? Remember when you told me that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Brother Pinker sent me a video some time ago. And what did I say, Brother Pincus? I don't remember. But anyway, the conversation went where there's just an effeminate, we realized it was a guy. It's a guy. So supposedly teaching all these different things about You know, the voice is just very effeminate, soft, like a soft cone, soft served. And I'm very concerned about the future because when the nations, remember the Most High warned us about assimilation, trying to bring that stuff over there into our culture. Because once that come over the fence, our sons and our daughters will start doing the same thing too. And if you are not around to guide them, our generation has ended. It's gone. It's finished. And when you look at these pictures, redefining girly. Redefining girly, you can't redefine girly. A girl is a girl and a boy is a boy. Time magazine, beyond he or she, how a new generation is redefining the meaning of gender. Katie Steinmetz, sound like another Jewish person. Might be wrong, but the people who are pushing these books about the future, writing these articles, putting these news reports, shake the tree and you'll see what falls out of it. And nobody's protesting the stuff. It's all, you know, it's not a problem. Family, when you look at this image, you think that's a female. And you might be inclined to, you know, the voice sounds right because the frequencies has reached that real feminine sound. The features has been softened. There's no Adam's apple, like they say Adam's apple. There's an Eve. No, it's an Eve apple. The hair is just looking healthy. Just flip it back and forth. The steps is more female than female. Actually, it's been toned down because they're learning how to master that. They're listening. You see, these sodomites have algorithms too. They get feedback. When you says, well, why that guy twitching so much? That must be a man over there. Because females don't walk like that. And guess what? They're feeding that information into their system. And they're learning, okay, maybe I need to cut back just a little bit. The algorithms, they're learning how to fit in, how to blend, how to become like women. And they're getting the doctors are learning how to changing of kinds, as it says in Wisdom of Solomon. They're learning how to do things such a way, even from the womb, they can go in there now and look around with the stuff and change things around. Before everything is closed up and secured, before the security system comes in and says, this is a male. Before the assembly line is over, they go in there and reconfigure everything, change things around. And from the birth paper, that child, it's almost like a robot. That child, in their mind, they're thinking, I was born that way. They don't know their own history. The parents have kept it quiet. It's sealed up in court documents. It's illegal to reveal the truth. The doctors have a confidential agreement, like a priest can't reveal what he has done. And in that child's mind, it's like a struggle. Psychologists, psychiatric treatments, can't even get the words right. Medical treatments to try to hone them, put them in certain environments around other females. And there's a struggle, but then after a while there's an acceptance. Remember the George Orwell, 1984? The guy was broken at the end. He says, I love Big Brother. After a while, that child accepts, they don't know why they're fighting this way, but the spirit of a male is in them. And they're thinking female, female, female. They're looking female. And then all of a sudden, someone comes around and, hey, what's your name? I'm Susie. Okay, I'm Billy. Billy, meet Susie. Susie, meet Billy. Billy says, I like you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And then Billy is trying to figure out how come I can't have children? But guess what? The future system, they got that all covered. Let me tell you something. I don't know about you, but You see, when Moses told the last few chapters in Deuteronomy, Moses says, listen, I know when I kick the bucket, what y'all going to do. I see it already. Yeah. Joshua said the same thing. I know what y'all going to do. Brothers and sisters, there's stuff that we just can't change. We can't stop other people from doing what they want to do, but we need to have the spirit of recognition. We need to be able to say to ourselves, you know what? I'm not going to hit the rock. I'm not going to fight for these people anymore because I've already done what I had to do. They need to walk the walk for themselves. Let's look at this. This is an article I got to pull up, Mishpachah. You will never believe this one. Nursery rhymes to sin. The gender-bending style of Yankee Doodle's macaroni. Now, most of us, how many of y'all used to sing Yankee Doodle, bling, 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 ding, 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 and ding, 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 and then you says yes. You know the song. You feel like you're learning. Mom, I know some nursery rhymes. Your mother's, it's good. My son is learning. He's learning stuff in school. Nursery rhymes, golden goose, and things like that. Let's take a look at this article. I got to pull this up. Some of y'all probably don't know this. Let me see. But this Yankee Doodle thing here. Oh, my goodness. We were trained as Hebrews. Let me pull this thing up. Got to see this. Let me make this big too. And let me post this in here. Pull it up. Let's see. Pull it up. Yeah. Can everybody see this on the screen? Let me know. Yes? Yeah. Yeah. Talk to me, Israelites. Yes. Okay, great. Let's read this thing. Let me make it bigger so y'all can see it. See. I know some of y'all may not like Brother Yonah too much, but Brother Yonah is trying his best to open our people's eyes. And when I told you all about school and things like that, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not anti-education. Our people need to learn, right? I just want us to learn the right things and to not invest and waste our monies on foolish stuff. This is a perfect example. It says, this is the JSTOR Daily, Politics and History. The gender-bending style of Yankee Doodle's macaroni. The outlandish macaroni style of 18th century England, what did it do? Blurred the boundaries of gender as well as class and nationality. Let's read some of this history. Now you see this picture here. This is not a modern drawing. You see this European Gentile with a big old wig, with a sodomite smile on his face, tights on him, frills and all kinds of stuff, powder on his, you name it. Look at the high heel shoes and flowers on the shoes. This is what was known at the time as macaroni. Let's read. This is October 21st, 2018. Brand new stuff, okay? Can y'all see it? Yeah. I'm going to make it bigger. Ever wonder why Yankee Doodle stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni? This macaroni was not tubular pasta. It was a style of men's fashion epitomized by fine sprigging fabric, tight clothes, oversized swords, tassel walking stick, delicate shoes, writes historian Amelia Rouser. Most famously or infamously, the costume was finished off by enormous wig topped with a little hat. The macaroni style was daffy-dyed foppery at its most outrageous and scandalous. The macaroni style, as Rouser shows, blurred the boundaries of gender as well as class and nationality. Macaroni challenged notions of masculinity on both sides of the Atlantic. It became an issue of patriotism too. Macaronis became associated with the who? Francois, the French. An alien and effeminate culture in British Isles. So the French were a bunch of sodomites In the eyes of the British, that was what they were doing. Yankee Doodle Dandy roughly dates to the French and Indian War, 1756-1763. The song seems to have originated with professional British soldiers who had teamed up with colonial militias more concerned with their appearances than their fighting skills. I don't even have to read the rest of it. Y'all can check this out. The bottom line is that that is a sodomite. That song is based on a sodomite culture. European, French in particular, sodomite culture that have our little children singing even to this very day about sticking a macaroni in his hat.
Stick a feather in his hat.
Whatever it is, some silly. You're speaking to the mic, brother Maynard. Oh, let me post the links for you all.
It just goes to show how this thing can follow us. I probably was about 6 years old when I remember that teaching. Yankee Doodle went to town upon, I think, a pony.
Did you have a pony, brother Maynard?
No.
Did you stick
in his hat?
Did you stick your feathers in your hat?
Yes.
I was about 6 years old, and I'm over 60. So imagine.
Brother Maynard, our young children have been learning in these schools about sticking feathers in hats and thinking that it was something wonderful to learn. After all, we're learning prestigious culture. When this is a cross-dressing. Elder, say something. Help me out, Elder.
When you don't know, it seems good. But thank God our eyes are opening to see these things. And when you tell people that, they might laugh at you.
Let me pull some more up here. Ms. Pakar, you see what Israel have to deal with. Our ignorance has kept us.
Let me say this.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
When I was in South Carolina, a sister.
Put some bass in the voice, brother. We got to make sure. Put that bass out, brother. Come on.
When I was in South Carolina, a sister had called my wife into the shop to speak with her because she was doing cosmetics or something like that. So she eventually called me in because she heard that we was Israel and all that stuff.
Okay.
And that was good. When I went into the shop, it had people coming in and out. And so this one in particular person, they look weird. I saw strong male features on this woman. And I was like, what the
Well, the thinkers, be careful with the language now.
So now I'm like, that's a dude. And I'm like looking at this person because I'm trying to figure out what is it. But then when the person speak, I hear, whoa. I say, I just like back out and said, the wife, let's go.
Let's go, huh? You backed out. Well, you see, if you, the society in the future is going to be, if you walk out, they can probably, there's an algorithm to read the expression in your face. I'm not, we're going to go a little bit over time because I got some videos you all have to see. Okay? The future, form over function. Form over function. Let's read the book of Joshua 4 and verses 19. Form over function. So in the future, it's more about the outside appearance rather than the way the Most High designed us. That a female she's designed as a female to fulfill a certain role, and a man is designed as a male to fulfill a certain role because he said it was good. But this stuff here is confusion. This is Babel in your loins. Okay. Joshua 4:19. Let's read.
For in those days the Son of Man.
The sons
of men.
I wish it was just one son, but it was sons that was doing this foolishness. Read.
Sons of men began to trespass against Yahuwah and to transgress the commandments which he had commanded to Adam, to be fruitful and multiply in the earth.
Verses 20.
And some of the sons of men caused their wives to drink a draught.
A mixture, a liquid, a potion. Read.
That would render them barren
to render them barren, read.
In order that they might retain their figures, and whereby their beautiful appearance might not fade.
They was turning their wives into idols. What do you call a little idol? A figurine. A figurine. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, but there is a lot of people now that looking like Barbie. If you go on YouTube, they're changing their appearance to look like a Barbie doll.
I mean, a lot of women we have done, and I need to post these videos up. I'm really behind schedule posting videos, but we have done classes to show how these sisters, they look attractive, but when you reverse the video, you can see what they did to get to that point. Layers and layers. They start with the white, then the green, then the yellow, and they're building like a palette, like just painting like Renoir or something, you know. Picasso, just layers and layers. They put this there, that there, lips here, and then when they finish, they look like the Joker, like the Joker. And you know, that's a beautiful sister. What's your name? Israela. Oh, okay. I'm Israela. That's a beautiful name. Let's get married. And when the time of honeymoon come, the first layer of paint come off. And then you be like Jacob. Somebody has tricked me. Because as far as I have the photographers now, I'm going to call him. Can you go back, look in your camera and tell me who you have on that camera? Because who I have here next to me, I don't remember this person. And the photographer will send a JPEG, a little clip. And you get your phone, you're like, I can see me, I can see Israela right over here. But who are you? Who are you? And that's the generation that I'm afraid of. Because you don't even know what you're getting. They're telling you the present is sealed. You're buying a wrap present. It is what it is. You don't know what you're getting. So it says, in order that they might retain their figures and whereby their beautiful appearance might not fade. So they gave them a portion. What do we have today? Birth control pills. You have all these different things that the women are taking to keep themselves a certain way. A lot of things is in the market, and when you look at it, it's nothing but witchcraft. Because it's the fetus grounded up into powder, the umbilical cord, the foreskins of babies blended up into some lotions and potions and whatnot, and the people are rubbing them on the skin. And when you kiss the sister on the cheek, you don't even know if that's a circumcised child that you're kissing or a female that you're kissing. You don't even know what you're getting on your face. The lipstick, love you, honey. And you don't know what you just kissed. What cometh between me and thee? Well, if it's natural, Sister Sarah, say something. If it's natural, that's fine. I'm not against the sisters putting on a little something to make their glory shine a little bit more gloriful. But I'm speaking about covering. Is the reason why it's called mascara. Huh? Because you don't know what's underneath the mask that you're caring for or carrying. You need a palette knife to kind of scrape that off. So you have to be careful. A little bit goes a long way. You don't need to be putting layers and layers in it. Leave the Gentile stuff alone. Okay? So this is what the Bible spoke about. And guess what? The future generations, they're going to have to deal with that stuff because now they're doing the stuff here surgically and with medicines, okay? And the women are not keeping themselves to be productive to have children because the society is preparing our women not to have children. Everything has to be delegated by the nations. If you want to have a child, you need to have a certificate. This is why China went through that experiment. Most of y'all don't know the reason why Germany was split into two. That was a political experiment, a social experiment to see how one side of a fence could be communist and one side can be capitalist, and then when you pull that fence from between, how the two systems can merge together. It was an experiment. Why they allow these things to happen far away from American shores is because it's coming to our shores. And when it comes here, it's going to be hard. It's going to be real hard. Yes, Sister Sarah.
Now, what I wanted to say about what you mentioned earlier, it's not just the women alone.
One child in China.
It's not just the women alone with the mascara and all that thing you say, but sometimes the men themselves, they want to see their wives look a certain way because they're looking at the magazines and they're looking at how other women, on those social things, and they want their women to look a certain way too, even though sometimes there's some other women who don't really care for that, but they do that because they're trying to keep their husbands or whatever.
Well,
so it kind of goes both ways.
So now I'm blaming the brothers now.
Yeah, I'm saying
the husband
some of
which
them
thou
do.
givest me.
Some of
request
them do.
This.
Some of them do.
It was not the serpent, it was the husband. Father, have mercy upon the fight that we have to deal with. Our shoulders are not broad enough, Father.
But it's true, though. It's
Deliver
true.
us.
Some
it's
of
true.
them, that's how, especially the men now that are going
now.
both ways,
Brother Pincus is true.
You don't even know if they're.
Should we pull the mic?
No, but it's true. It's true. You can't fight against it. It's true. I'm telling you. I have seen those things. And people
Brother
are
Pincus,
actually
do you tell
saying
your wife,
that.
sis, you have to put all the
I'm not talking about Brother Pincus or the brothers that are here. I'm saying there are some.
Let me make a call to myself.
Out there, men out there.
Did you ever tell Sarah to masquerade? What saith you? I'm still listening. I'm not hearing anything from the self. Oh, some men. Okay, can you repeat that? And
I said there are some men out there.
Some men, okay.
That want their wife to look a certain way.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Well, the Willie Lynch has been beating us for so long that I have to be very defensive on that. I have to stand up for the brothers.
Sisters out there will agree with them.
Sisters don't agree. If I see any sisters that agree, I'm going to block you. Let's see. Hallelujah. Let's move on.
But it's true.
Sister Tale, you stretching your hands? Yeah, you are? Okay. Let me move on. We'll open up the mic for a little while. Just hang on, okay? Let's take a look at this. What does science fiction tell us about the future of reproductive rights? So, Annalene Newitz. Just think about the name again. I posted a link up in the chat so y'all can take a look at it. If everything from technology to politics will be different in the future, then so will human reproduction. That's why so much science fiction deals with the question of how humans make babies or don't make them. In alternate worlds that are often quite close to our own, it's also why reproduction is a political issue. After all, a political campaign represents the promise of a new kind of future. Now, you can check the article out. There's a lot of stuff in there for you to glean, and I'll give you a little taste of some of the science fiction. Let's go to our next slide. That is promoting this idea. This is an author of a trilogy called The Rift, Amy S. Foster. Okay, this is what she has to say about the future. She says, I think for me, as a mother of teenage girls, and they always use that because they don't want to seem as if they're not a caring parent, or they sympathize or empathize or have some connection as being a mother. So so usually they use someone to sell a product that's a mother who will actually go for that type of a future. This is what she had to say. I would love to see a birth control injection that lasted for years and was what? Mandatory throughout the world. It sounds completely totalitarian, I know, but I believe that no child anywhere should have to deal with the fear of parenthood, an emotional upheaval of abortion, or the trauma involved in adoption. I think allowing girls to grow up before becoming mothers will truly change the cultural, emotional, economic landscape. You notice the three: culture, how society wants to go; emotional, how you feel; and economic, how much money, your pocketbook is affected. This is the movement towards the beast. An economic landscape of the entire planet for the better. Notice they always use the term better. It's always putting out for the young people that it's going to be better. But they always shame what the Most High set up. I believe that no child, that's a negative, anywhere should have to deal. That term, have to deal, makes it sound like it's a burden. With the fear of parenthood. So parenthood now becomes a problem. The emotional upheaval of abortion, that you shouldn't have to be put in a position to kill. Or the trauma of adoption, that you shouldn't have to be, feeling bad that you have to go through all of this, like the rejection of having to adopt and you can't have a child, finding the right match. So they put these scenarios to make it seem like it's a problem. This is how they get the world of tomorrow, the youth of tomorrow. Let me post the link so y'all can check it out for yourself. Okay. Well, they're gonna put themselves. They're gonna put themselves. Okay, I gotta eject Sister Tale. Let me boot her from the room. Let's move on. Let me play some videos now, Mishpaka, and then we'll open up the lines for a little chat, okay? Okay, we still got plenty of time. So let's move this out the way. Let's take a look at let's look at the TVs and stuff.